All right. Hello and welcome to our webinar. I hope from now on you can hear us all. Otherwise, please let us know in the chat function if there are any technical problems. And yes, let's start with our presentation. We are your presenters today. First of all, it's me. I'm Katrin. I'm an international student ambassador, and that means that I will be responsible and also try to support you and to help you as much as I can to prepare you for your studies before you actually come here, and that, we can fix all the questions that you might have. And with me, I have also Sophie and Sepehr today, and they just also gonna shortly present themselves.
Yeah, so hello everyone, my name is Sophie. I'm working as an international student assistant here at Örebro University, and I'm basically your practical social and academic support here during your first stay and your first weeks. I'm in charge of the introduction program, which I will talk more about later.
Hey everyone, I'm Sepehr. I'm an international master's student in Master of Cardiovascular Medicine, second semester, and I hope you enjoy this presentation.
Yes, and before we start, the most important thing we're going to say today is congratulations. We are all really happy that you got offered a place or that you might be on the waiting list, and then we really hope that you will still get offered a place and that we all can meet you this autumn. And I'm also especially really happy because I applied myself for studying in autumn and got accepted. So with some of you, I'm going to study. So I'm really happy, to meet you also in autumn. And before we start, just a short introduction. You can use the chat function if you have questions to a specific topic we talk about. But we will also have time at the end of the presentation if there are further questions. And the link to the webinar recording and the presentation will be made available afterwards, so you will get all the information again. And this webinar is open for all students that got admitted, so from each of the programs, which actually means, unfortunately, today we don't have the time to talk about any specific program question. So if you want to know more about something from the syllabus or the content of the program or how you can actually prepare for your studies, if you should read literature before, then you should please contact each of the program coordinator from your accepted program. And what are we going to talk about today? So first of all, we talk about the next steps, what you should do right now after you got accepted. And this also includes housing. You should apply for housing, and we will show you a bit more about that later, also how it can look and where it is located. Then we talk about finances, about the living costs, and we got a lot of questions before about how it is to find a part-time job and is it possible. So we will talk more about that later as well. Then we will have a part Sophie's going to talk about because she is responsible for the introduction program, and we will tell you what awaits you. Then we talk a bit about living in Örebro itself, in the city, and the student's perspective, where Sep will show you what he's doing on campus, what he's doing in his everyday life, and talk a bit about that. Then we tell you how you can connect with us, some key dates, and then we do have a part for the non-EU EEA students. So for all of you that actually have to pay the tuition fees, who applied for scholarships, and who need to apply for a residence permit. So all of these questions we will have at the end, at point 9. So if you then have more questions still after that to the scholarships and so on, there are time for questions at the end. So then you can ask also after that. And now we can finally start. So the first step and the biggest question of you probably is what you should do now when you got accepted. So actually, you do not have to do anything formally if you want to study here, what we would all be really happy about. You do not need to reply to your offer on university admissions, or you do not have to contact our admissions office and send an email or anything. But we would really like to help you to prepare for your stay and your studies. And it would be important for Sophie to know to plan the introduction better if you would actually show up in autumn. So after you decided to come and to accept your place, it would be nice if you could send an email to me and shortly tell me that you're coming so we can prepare everything for you. But this is really, this is informal. So if you don't send me an email, it doesn't mean you would lose your spot. And so in order also to be still, if you still have applied for a scholarship, this also means you don't have to tell us you're coming. You still will be considered anyway for the scholarship. And then if you unfortunately think about not coming, you do actually have officially declined your spot through university admissions. And this you personally have to do through your account. So that means you can't send us an email and tell us you're not coming. You have to log in, and then you find next to the program you got admitted to a small button which says, I wish to decline this place. And that's the only way how you can actually decline your place. And if you really decided not to come, it would be really good of you to do so, because we have some students on the waiting list and your spot might be then taken from someone else. And then we talk a bit about housing, and also here we got a lot of questions from before that Sep gonna answer, hopefully all of them. And yes, it would be really good if you are decided to come if you apply for housing through us. We have Kerstin. She helps you in finding housing. She's from the housing office. And we have a form online that you have to fill out and send to her. And then she can help you in finding a place. And this doesn't cost anything extra also, because we got asked about that. It's totally a free service. So you can contact her. And she can help you even up to, if you want to bring one partner and 2 kids. So up to 4 people, she can help you and find accommodation. And we offer this service for everyone that does not have a Swedish personal identity number. And yes, we got so many questions about accommodation, Sep, and I know you live in a student housing. So maybe you can tell us a bit more about that, because people ask if it's possible, if you can share a room, or how does it look like, if you need to get your own Wi-Fi, and how is it with the rent?
First, for students that they come here alone, the university offers on-campus student living that is like a corridor-style living. Any room has it's for everyone. It's a room with their own bathroom and shower, and then they share a kitchen and in the end of the hall and the corridor. And so then, no, you cannot share these rooms with anyone. That's just for one person. And if they're more than one person, or if you're coming with a partner or kids, you can ask, and they're gonna offer you off-campus bigger apartments. And for the internet and Wi-Fi is included in your rentals, and but you have to buy a router or a cable to connect your computer to the internet. But also you can buy the router on the second-hand market that it's between students here. You can find the second-hand easily. And about the payments, you have to do your first payment when you come here, and the payments are done monthly, and you don't have to pay any money in advance.
Yes, and here on the picture, you can actually see where Sep is living. He lives in one of these like red houses you can see in the presentation, and the other buildings, that's actually campus. So it is really, really close to campus. And yeah, how long do you need to walk to the main campus? Probably
1 minute,
2 minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
It's really, really close. And it's really, yeah, nice if you want to go to the library or study, or if you have lectures, because you're directly there. Then the living costs and how it is to find a job. So for the living costs, we would recommend you to have around 8,500 Swedish crowns. That are currently 820 euros or 920 US dollars. And in that, the rent of 3,500 Swedish crowns is included, because yeah, we got also here a question about how much is the rent. So it's in average, if you apply through the housing office for one person on campus, it's around 3,500 Swedish crowns. And that actually means if you come with 8,500 Swedish crowns, you have 5,000 crowns left per month. And do you think that's a good amount?
Yeah, that's a fair amount. You can live with that amount. If you have like good programming, you can have a quite good life here.
Yes, and of course this depends on your own life standard. If you like to go a lot out in the center to eat, if you like shopping, traveling, you might need a bit more. But I think on 5,000, as you said, Swedish crowns, you can have a good student life here in the city. And we got some highs here. Yeah, hi. We're really happy that you're all here today and listen to us. And then part-time jobs. First of all, a really good news is that you do not need any additional work permit if you're enrolled here as a student. And this also especially counts for people and students that are coming outside of the EU. So you don't have to apply here for any permit to start working. However, it might be difficult to find a part-time job. And a lot of jobs really require you to have at least some basic Swedish knowledge and that you should have a personal identity number. And the problem with the personal Swedish identity number is that you can first apply for that after you have arrived here in Sweden and after you have registered with your program. So you won't be able to start that process before end of or like beginning of September. And then all of that takes a bit time. And this offers also just for students that actually are admitted to a 2 years master program. So if you study strategic communication, public planning, or social analysis, you might not have the chance to apply for a Swedish personal identity number. And that makes it really, really hard to find a job. And besides that, also your studies should have first priority. And we will talk later a bit more about that it might be you don't have so much present time on campus itself, that you maybe have just 2 days a week university, but still all the programs are designed full time. So besides the studies, you still have to do a lot of group works, presentations. So there might not even be the time to have a job. So that's why we really, really recommend you to not be dependent on a part-time job when you come here and just see it a bit more as a little extra in case you would find one. And now we go on to a bit more fun part. About the introduction program, Sophie.
Yes. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm in charge of planning the introduction program for you when you arrive. And the introduction program is around 3 to 4 weeks. And it's a way for you to get to know campus and the city of Örebro. It's also great to meet the students, all the other new students, and make new friends easily and quickly. And we will also have information lectures and seminars, which will learn you about the academic system. We will go and visit the Swedish nature and so many other fun activities. So the semester starts September 2nd, but we would like you to arrive the week before that, between the 26th of August and 30th of August. And this is Monday to Friday, the week before semester starts. And this is because we would like to start the introduction program already on the weekend before. Give you a little campus tour so you know where to go on your first day here at Örebro University, and also go to IKEA. For you who are not well aware of IKEA, this is a furniture store, Swedish founded, and we will go there to find stuff for you for your new accommodation to feel a bit more home. We will also visit the Swedish, or not the Swedish castle, but the Örebro castle, and have a guided tour. We will have day activities, weekend activities, and even some night activities. So I think we will have some events that fit all of you. So we strongly recommend you to join this program because it's very fun and it gives you the opportunity to make new friends very fast.
Yes, and actually we had this morning another question about introduction program coming through email. If it is for free, or if the students, if they have to register, if they're like, if they have to register to get a place in introduction, or is it for everyone?
Okay. So the introduction program is for everybody applied or accepted to international master program, and it's free of charge. So you're more than welcome to join our activities. All we need to know is we will send out the arrival form so we know when you arrive so we can assist you and welcome you to campus in Örebro. So no, it doesn't cost anything. So I hope you will join us.
Yes. And how was introduction for you, Seb? Like, was it helpful? What was your favorite activity during introduction?
Yeah, it was very fun and was very helpful to know the Örebro city and student life here. And of course, it was lots of fun in that introduction program. My favorite part was Örebro's Day because it was lots of activities and we had like games and things like that in the city, and it was so fun. And
yes, and I think we will have that this time as well.
Yes, so we have something called Örebro Day, as Seb mentioned, and this is basically where all new students to Örebro University compete in different competition around the city. So we go canoe paddling in the lake around the castle and so much more. It's very, very fun, and it's also a way for interacting with the Swedish students as well. Now on the PowerPoint presentation, you can see our buddies, and the buddies is students enrolled here at Örebro University that will help me welcome you here during the introduction program. They will also take place in our activities and help you ask questions and so on. So if you have any questions about the introduction program or if there's something I can help you with, let me know and send me an email and I will do my best to assist you.
Yes. All right, about living in Örebro. You see here the castle that Sophie has mentioned that we will visit. It's in the center of the city. And actually Örebro itself is in the heart of Sweden, meaning that it's directly located between Gothenburg and Stockholm, which makes it a great location if you want to travel around and discover new cities. You actually need around 2 hours by train to Stockholm and around 3 hours to Gothenburg. And Örebro South is a really compact city, and that's always what a lot of students really appreciate, because everything is nearby and you can actually also bike everywhere. So if you see here on the map, the small red dot down there called Oru, that's where we are right now. That's the main campus. And that's also where most of you, if you come as a single student and apply through housing for accommodation, will actually live. And then there is the Ö, that's the weird letter, like the O with the 2 dots, if you don't have that in your language. And that's the city center. And from here, from campus to city center, it takes you around 10 minutes by bike. So it's really close. And then there's another dot called USÖ. And maybe, Seb, you're there a lot of times in a week. What is it?
It's Universitetssjukhuset Örebro, or Örebro's University Hospital. That is most of the classes of students studying in medical fields like Master of Cardiovascular Medicine and GBI or innate immunity. They have most of the classes there. And also the Örebro's hospital is located there with all classes and med school. So it's one of the places that you might have classes if you study in medical fields here.
Yes, and as you can see on the map, it's really, really close to the center. And also there, like, you can easily, if you live here on campus, but you study on the medical campus, you can easily bike there in like 10 to 15 minutes. And the blue spot there, called Hjälmaren, is actually the 4th biggest lake in Sweden, which is directly next to Örebro, which makes it really nice because they have a great nature reserve. You can in summer go by boat on the lake. You can go swimming there. And it's, a lot of fun to live close to the lake, actually. And now Seb's going to talk a bit more about the student life. And actually, if you look at the 2 pictures, that's the lake we just talked about. That's Hjälmaren Lake. There are lots of activities for students here. First, I'm going to concentrate on academic ones. In campus, there is lots of places that you can study. A very good library with almost every book that you need and very good resources of articles in every field.
And also there are lots of different places on campus that you can study until 11 p.m. And so it's not going to be a problem if you don't feel comfortable of studying at home. And also there are lots of activities then in the city, by the university and in other places in the city. Then you can go barbecue by the lake, or you can go to different places in the city. And it's also, we forgot to mention earlier, that's a very good water park here that you can use. So there are lots of options that you can, if you're looking to have fun, you can always find it in Örebro.
Yeah. And the water park you mentioned, it's actually, I think it's the biggest one in Sweden for sure, but I think it's even the biggest one in Scandinavia. And that's also biking distance from here. So in the summer you can bike there and swim. And yeah, it's really special. And we had some questions also pre-submitted to the Student Live. And on the next slide, we have some more pictures about that. But some people ask if there are like sports offered on campus. And they read about Örebro Kårhus and wanted to know what it actually is, what you can do there.
Okay, first about the gym. There is a gym on campus that is if you want to walk, it's like 3-4 minutes from the place that you leave. It offers, it has a gym and also offers the different sports, ball sports, and different classes like core training, cycling, and everything if you're interested. And also the picture that you're seeing on the left upper side of this photo, it's Örebro Kårhus. That is a place that people hang out on campus in the mornings and till the evening. It's called Cafe Kåren. That is, you can have the cheapest but also the good quality of food and breakfast, coffees, and it's like managed and controlled by the students. And students work there and students have fun there. And also in Thursday nights, there's an event named Time Beer that you can gather and know people, hang out with people from different fields and all other students. And also on Friday nights, and sometimes, especially in opening programs, also on Saturday nights, they have parties on this courthouse. And then, it's a good place to hang out with students here.
Yes, and the good news is it's directly on campus. And how long do you need to go there, Seb?
From my place, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. Yeah.
So it's perfect. Like you can just go there really quick and just, come by, grab a coffee, meet friends, have a beer on Thursdays, go partying on the weekend. So it's a really good place also if you want to meet Swedish students, because it is always really crowded and there you can really easily get in touch with them. And you also see one on the pictures, some music students from the university here, because they have a music school on campus. And these students regularly offer free concerts where they show you what they do at the moment in their program. So that's also an offer that you can just go in your free time, which is for free, and you can listen to some music if you're interested in that. And yes, how you can connect with us. So we saw that most of you have already joined our Facebook group, but if you're not in there yet, we want you to get now your phones and type in Oro Admitted Masters 2019 and press join so we can accept you to the group, and then you can get to know each other and can connect with us. But it's also really important. You don't have to worry if you do not have a Facebook account. It's totally fine. Like every important information we will share always with you also through email. So it is not mandatory. But if you want to get in touch already with each other and get to know each other, it's a good opportunity. And in the group, you might notice there are a lot of internationals. But actually, the master programs are also open for Swedish students. But the Swedish application round is still open. So Swedish students can actually apply until the 15th of April, and they will know on mid of July if they got accepted. So first after that, we can also invite them to the group. So you don't have to be confused. It's for international students and Swedish students, but the Swedish students might join later on in the group. All right, then some important key dates. So in the first week of May, we will send you a newsletter where we will remind you again of the deadline for the housing office, which is on the 15th of May, and where we'll also tell you what's going on here on campus, what's going on in the city, so that you already know what will await you when you come here. And we will send you through the month until arrival more newsletters where we'll inform you about important things. So always also have an eye on your spam mailbox in case it ends up there in your emails. Then beginning of August, you will get the information about registration from the institution and the program you got accepted to, as well as access to the schedule and the course syllabus. And then, as Sophie mentioned before, from the 26th of August, which is a Monday, to the Friday, the 30th of August, we set the arrival week. So it would be good if you will arrive in between there. And we will send out an arrival form through a newsletter that you can fill out and let us know, and then we can even assist you directly when you arrive. And then the semester starts on the 2nd of September with a little ceremony at the beginning, a welcome ceremony, and that's really the latest day you should show up here, because then semester starts and you should register with your program. And we do have a question.
Is it true that rooms in the student housing are not furnished?
And Sep, is that true?
No, they are furnished. They, of course, you need some things to buy for yourself, but when you arrive, it has a bed. Yes, like it has almost everything that you need: a desk, a chair. So, depending on the things that you need, you might buy some things, but like the room can be considered as furnished.
Yeah, so you definitely have like the most important thing. You have a bed, you have a desk, you have a closet and a chair and so on. So you have the most important things. But then, as Sophie mentioned before in introduction, we will go to IKEA. So then you do have the chance to buy stuff if something is missing. And how it is with the kitchen? Is there stuff, or how does it work?
The kitchen has the main things that you need in the kitchen. Of course, a fridge and freezer and microwave, everything. But you need to buy your own dishes and
pots and pans.
Pots and pans.
And this is also easily to buy secondhand if you would like to, or at IKEA for a low price.
Yes.
And question, I want to ask the gentleman, how marketable is cardiovascular medicine?
What do you mean by marketable?
In the job market.
It depends if you want to study. As Catherine mentioned, we don't have that much time of going to specific programs, but in general, it depends if you want to go into work as a research man or like going into research fields or clinical fields. But here also in the research center, cardiovascular research center offers lots of good opportunities for continuing your studies or at PhD level, and also working as an internship or as a clinical assistant here. So you can find lots of good opportunities after joining this program.
Yes, and if you want to know more about that, you can also actually go to the program page and you find the webinar recording there where Alexander, who is the program coordinator, also explains in a video a bit more about job markets and career opportunities afterwards. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. And then now we have a part for the non-EU EEA students. So everyone that is from EU country, EEA or Switzerland, this is not important for you. And if you still have a question, we would like you to hang on, because after that we will come to the question and answer part. But for now, that's not important for you, as you won't have to apply for a residence permit, don't have to pay the tuition fees, and have not applied for a scholarship. So now we go into the scholarship section. So if you have applied with Örebro University for a scholarship, you will be notified by the 24th of April if you got accepted or not. And that will be via email. You will receive, if you got accepted, you will receive an email. and it will also be published on the webpage. And you won't get an email if you haven't got a scholarship. So still, if you haven't got an email by 24th, just go to the webpage and then see in case if your name is there or not. And this scholarship covers 100% of the tuition fees, but it does actually not cover the living costs. So the cost that we're going to have talked before about, the rent of 3,500 Swedish crowns and the extra 105,000 Swedish crowns that you should have per month, that's actually not covered. So you have to pay that by yourself. And we got questions before if it is possible that you apply for a scholarship now and then you won't get accepted and you are a 2-year student if you can actually apply in the second year, again, to get the scholarship for the tuition fees. And that's unfortunately not possible. So you can actually just apply if you start studying for the Örebro University scholarship. And then also a lot of you have applied for the scholarship from Swedish Institute. And this scholarship will be announced, the result, on the 27th of April. So 3 days after you got notified if you got the Örebro University scholarship. And this scholarship covers the tuition fees and as well as some living costs up to a certain amount. And both of the scholarships you do have to accept. So the deadline for the Swedish Institute scholarship is the 3rd of May. And if you got accepted for the Örebro University scholarship, you will also get a deadline there. So we actually know if you accept the scholarship and come studying here. And if you have any more information about the scholarship from Swedish Institute, you can directly go to the page. And yes, about the tuition fees. A lot of you, I know, have applied for a scholarship that have to pay the tuition fees, and you already might have got your invoice this week, which states that the deadline for paying the tuition fees is the 30th of April. So what we recommend you to do, if you have applied for a scholarship, is to wait until the scholarship announcement on the 24th and 27th of April. And if you haven't got a scholarship and you still want to study with us, then you should pay the amount after that directly within the deadline. And if you do have any problems with paying the fees, you can directly contact our admissions team because they work with it at freemover@oro.se. And they can help you if you explain them your situation, what you should do, because they're experts there. Yes. And then the residence permit and fundings. So you have to pay the first installment of your tuition fees in order to be able to apply for residence permit. So you can't do it right now if you haven't paid the fees. And you need to pay here, and then the university will automatically notify the Swedish Migration Agency that you have paid the fees. So they will already know, and you don't need to show them or bring any kind of proof because that works automatically. And as you can see here, there's a different period for what you apply for a permit for. It depends on if you're actually accepted for a 1-year program or a 2-year program. And these periods are just general. So of course it varies from case to case. And the final period that applies for you, you have to check with the migration agency yourself. And if you're applied for a 1-year program, generally you can say that your permit will be valid from the 1st of August 2019 till the 30th of June 2020. And if you applied for a 2-year program, the 1st of August 2019, they will start your permit and will end on the 1st of September 2020. And this doesn't mean that you can't study the second year. You just will get it for the first year, and then you can extend it when you're here in Sweden 6 months before your current permit expires. So you can go in around March and then extend it for the second year of your studies. And you need to prove that you can provide yourself here in Sweden. And this means they want you to have per month 8,370 Swedish crowns. And if you apply for a 1-year program, you have to prove that you can support yourself 10 months, which is 83,700 Swedish crowns. And if you're applied for a 2-year program, you have to show that you have 92,070 Swedish crowns. And that applies for you if you haven't received a scholarship or if you got the Örebro University scholarship, because this won't cover any living costs. And the numbers for your fundings might differ if you actually got a scholarship from the Swedish Institute. So then the migration agency will already also know about that from the university that you received one. Yes. And what is really important is that the bank statements where you actually show the money we just talked about now, they should not be older than 3 months. So if your permit starts generally on the 1st of August, your bank statement should not be older than 1st of May, which means you should not start applying for a residence permit before the 1st of May. And if you depend on the scholarship, you just wait until the results, then you pay the fees. And when you've paid the fees, then you apply for the residence permit. So that's how it works. And here's some tips from us and also common mistakes that happened in the last year. So first of all, it is really important about the fundings that you are the account holder of the bank statement that you show to the Swedish Migration Agency, because no shared accounts will be accepted. This means you can't have a common account together with your partner. You do need to prove that you alone have this access to that amount of money. And also, no account from parents will be accepted, even though if you might share the same last name, this won't be enough. So you have to be the account holder when you apply. And you cannot obtain a residence permit actually longer than your passport is valid, which means make sure to extend your passport if it expires, because it might be really hard from Sweden to get a new passport, as in a lot of countries you have to be there in person. And don't apply before 1st of May, but after that apply as soon as possible, because it can take up to 3 months until they make a decision. And an incomplete application that you sent in directly on the 1st or 2nd of May might take longer actually to process than if you have a complete application. So wait until you have everything together and then apply. And now, finally, we have time for some questions and answer the questions from before. And
okay.
Yes.
The first question is, do I especially need to prepare for winter season and the cold weather? Well, as a Swede, I say yes and no, depends on where you're from. We have 4 seasons, so we have winter, cold winter, autumn, spring, and summer. But you will arrive in August, which is the warmest month in the Swedish weather. But I would definitely bring warm clothes and a rain jacket anyway, because we have, as Sepp said this morning, we can have all weathers in one day.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
So when you came, you brought a lot of winter stuff, or you bought it here, or how did you manage to do that?
Yeah, because I was in Sweden from 1 year before. I had my winter clothing, but yeah, you need to be prepared, but not that much. You have time to get prepared also here. And yeah, it's when you arrive, it's actually warm. You don't need to worry about the at least first 1.5 months, 2 months. It's quite warm here.
Mm-hmm. Second question is, you just said that we need our own dishes. Does that include also pots, pans, dish and towels and stuff like that? Or is it in the kitchen when we arrive?
There's some stuff in the kitchen that they are shared and common stuff that you can use. It's different between corridor and corridor. Some corridors have more, some corridors have less. So yeah, when you arrive, you can survive for 2-3 days with this stuff. At least you can have and use the common stuff, but you need to buy some of the stuff for sure.
Yeah, so the common stuff is usually stuff that the students from before just left. So that's why we can't really say how much there is, but a lot of corridors have at least the basic stuff that you can survive until we go to IKEA. So then you can figure out yourself until then what you still need.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it only those who are granted scholarship that gets email on the 24th? Yes. So if you're granted, you will get a notification, as we mentioned before. If you haven't received an email the 24th, we recommend you to go online on ore.se to see, because there will the names of the persons that have been granted the scholarship be published. So if you don't see your name there, you haven't been delivered a scholarship. Second question as well is it possible to be a recipient of both the Swedish Institute and the university scholarship? To have an option which one to accept. So can you have both the University of Örebro and Swedish institution?
Yes, actually we had this case last year that we had someone who received both, and then you can decide which one to take. And then of course we totally understand if you take the Swedish Institute scholarship, as this, on addition to the tuition fees, also covers some living costs. So it doesn't mean if you are accepted on the 24th that you can't be accepted on the 27th. So you can actually be accepted for both. But then you, in the time until 3rd of May, you actually have to tell us, which scholarship you're going to take.
Another question is that we will get an email attachment of this presentation. And yes, you will get the presentation as well as the webinar recording, where you can watch it again. And again.
And again, as often as you want. Yes.
1 year master student can get Swedish personal number, ?
Ooh. Yeah, this is a really hard question, but most likely no, because you need to be and prove that you stay in Sweden for longer than 12 months. So you need to be accepted for a program with 2 years. And it won't be enough if you tell them, I've been accepted for a program for 2 semesters, and after that I want to try to find a job and so on. This won't be enough, because then they want to actually see that you already have the job offer. So most likely, no, you can't apply for a Swedish personal number. But before you actually come here, we will also give you more information about that. What actually does it mean? How do you apply? But you can first anyway apply after you've been registered and directly here from Sweden. So it won't be that relevant for you right now.
Mm-hmm. A question about Swedish. Can I learn Swedish when I come to Örebro? And this is actually a very good question. Last year and last semesters, we have the opportunity to offer Swedish lessons both Monday and Wednesdays. This is being evaluated now. So how it will look in the autumn, we don't really know at the moment, but we definitely will have some kind of Swedish lessons to offer you, but the level of it are not decided yet. So I also see that the question refers to SFI, and this is only available for the one with the Swedish personal number, if I'm correct.
Yes, you can also, or if you're from EU, actually. So if you're an EU student and you're just here for 1 year, you can still apply for SFI course. But be aware, I think, Sep applied. It might take really long if they don't have a free spot at their classes until they answer or until you get offered a place, actually. But you don't have to be afraid. Swedes are perfectly in English. I have discovered that myself. So it's nice, of course, to know some basic words and to understand all the products in the supermarket, but I don't think you need it. Or have you ever had a situation where you feel like
I don't think so. No, everyone knows English here, and you don't have any problems. Handling your situation and stuff. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Another question, I think it's for Sep maybe. How many students can share a kitchen in a corridor? There
are 8 rooms in a corridors, but not all of them are full at all times. So maximally 8 people are in a corridor using kitchen. So it's not a problem. It's not every time that you want to use a kitchen is usually available. So
yes, but you have everything double. So you have 2 ovens, and so you can cook the same time. And it's also shared with Swedish students, like your corridor. The perfect corridor would look like for Swedes and for internationals. That's what they try to do. It's not always possible, but in your corridor, you will also have a great chance actually to meet some Swedish students and interact with them. So more questions.
Yes. On student accommodation, what happens when the place is full? Is there other places closer where students are accommodated? I do not believe we have that problem in the previous years, that students asking for help for accommodation haven't received the housing. So I don't really know what to answer to that question actually, but if you have any questions about housing, Kerstin is the person to talk to because she is the expert on that area. And her contact information is included in the presentation, so you can easily get it from there.
And that's why you also have to make sure to apply within 15th of May. So she knows early in advance and she can, give you a room, as we also receive a lot of like exchange students and so on. So that a room is not available, please make sure to apply within 15th of May.
Yes. Another question is, what are the criteria for international students to be involved in sport activities at Örebro University? So we have, as Sep mentioned, a campus gym here, which have a lifting room, they have group sessions, different ball sports, etc. And the first week of the orientation program, between the 2nd of September until the 8th of September, you can try everything free of charge. And then later, if you like it and enjoy it, you can buy a card and continue your practice and training throughout your stay here.
Yeah, and they have special offer for students, so it is cheaper if you're a student here at the university. And even if you're registered within the beginning of your studies, they give you also 20% off as like a little welcome gift at university. So that's a really great offer that you should think about if you start studying here. And you go to the gym, right? And like, what do you do there? Is it crowded? How does it work?
Fortunately, it's not that crowded. Whenever you don't have to wait for any device to use or any machines. So it's quite good. Like, and the best thing about that is you can walk from your place 3 minutes to go to the gym and come back. So it's a very good option, especially in the winter. The weather is cold. It's a very good option that you can have your gym like very, very near to your place.
Yes. More questions about the kitchen. Do you have a place for your stuff in the kitchen, or do you have all the kitchen stuff in your own room?
No, we have places. Everyone has 3 places to put their stuff, and 2 drawers and 1 cupboard. Cupboard shelves and
And it's actually already pre-labeled with your room number, so it's like a reserved spot. Where you can put like your stuff, and you have as well, in the freezer you have space, especially for your room, and also in the fridge. So that won't be any problem. And as you saw in the picture, you even share like a small living room area that you can use if you want to meet friends for tea or coffee, or just want to hang out. So a lot of things are available like in the kitchens already.
So we have another question about housing assistance, how it worked, if they need assistance to find a place. Does it differ from the Örebro Bostäder, which is the Örebro company, or does it guarantee a place? What is the best way to go about looking for accommodation? So if you don't have a Swedish personal number, you have to apply through our housing form before May 15th to get assistance from our housing office. And as I mentioned before, this haven't been a problem previous year, that everybody that need assistance and somewhere to live have gotten the help they needed.
Yes.
Question, I have received an invoice and I'm waiting for the scholarship. What should I do once I get SI scholarship?
So as we have mentioned before, you should just wait now until after your scholarship announcement. And if you got the Swedish Institute scholarship, they will actually contact you, and then they will fix everything with the money and so on, and with the university. So you just wait until after the announcement, and then you get further instructions. And if you unfortunately are not rewarded a scholarship, then you should, as soon as possible, to secure your spot, pay the tuition fees after the announcement of the scholarship, if you still want to study here. Yes, so are there more questions?
Yeah, we have a question about food. So is there a variety of vegan food and restaurants in Örebro? Is it vegan-friendly city? And I don't know what you think, but I believe that the vegan utbud, I missed the word. Yeah, like the vegan culture is getting bigger. So yes, I think every restaurant in Örebro have a vegan alternative. It's getting bigger and bigger, and more restaurants are aware of the environmental issue as well. So I would actually say yes to that question.
Yeah, I would actually, because I'm from Germany, say like, it's not a vegan city, it's like a vegan country. Like, to be honest, it's much easier to find food, like, or if you are gluten intolerant, if you lactose-free products, it is really, really easy. Yeah, if you're allergic to any kind of, it is really easy.
Unfortunately, Scandinavian people are allergic to a lot of things. So whatever you need, the restaurants are very good at helping you. They're used to it. So vegan and vegetarian is not a problem.
Yes.
Another question, have Örebro some entertainment area? I mean, music, instrument, and stuff like that. You mentioned it before.
Yeah, I mean, we have a music school on campus. They have a lot of bachelor programs. That's why a lot of Swedish bachelor students, they study there. Mm-hmm. And they actually have examen concerts, they call it. So at the end of their semester, they usually offer free concerts that you can just go to and listen to. And and otherwise also the city has a lot to offer.
If you're talking about instruments and stuff, because Örebro actually are the city for the Swedish Royal Orchestra. So we actually have a lot of entertainment that wise in our concert hall downtown in the city, if you like classical music. And as I mentioned in the previous webinar this morning, Örebro are aiming to be one of the biggest city in Sweden on events. So it's happening things all of the time. So I think you will never be bored here. There will always be something to do on campus and off campus, even if it's sports, if it's just going out for a coffee, if it's nature hiking, or if it's events and concerts.
And festivals.
And festivals. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. I am from Göteborg. Hello, I'm from Göteborg too. And I have a library card. Does that work in Örebro too, or have I applied for another one? Can I explain? Okay. So first, library card. The library card at Örebro University is unique for our university library. So you need to get a new one, but you will get one during the introduction week. It's very easy, and we will help you to connect to it. So no, the one you have in Örebro will not work. In Gothenburg will not work here in Örebro. Another question, explain the transportation system. Seth, do you want to talk about it?
Usually people bike here, use their bikes, but the public transportation system is very good and very easily available, because it's just 3-4 minutes walk from your place or from the campus to the nearest bus station, and there are 3 or 4 buses from that from the university bus station to the center of the city, and also for the students that studying in medical fields and going to campus USO, there's 2 buses that goes there, and it's so frequent, like every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes in holidays, there is a bus that you can use. So it's not a problem to use public transport here.
Yeah, and connect to that, we also have a question, how long it will take to travel from Örebro to Linköping by train. And actually, I think the train connection between Örebro and Linköping is a bit tricky. You have to change train, but it's definitely possible. The railway system and the public transportation by bus in Sweden in general is very good. We like to commute here, and as Seb said, bike if we can. But I think by car it takes around 2 hours to Linköping, and I would guess it's about the similar by train.
Yeah, I went once to Linköping. It's like a year ago, so I don't really remember that much anymore, but it was really cheap. That's what I remember. It's like it was around just 8 years to go there if you book in advance. And yeah, it was really like 2.5 hours, something like that. So it's definitely possible to go from here.
Yeah. Are there any good hiking sports nearby the city? Wow. Hiking sports. Spots. Oh, sorry. It's my eyes are getting tired here. Hiking spots. Yes, definitely. We have a forest right behind campus where you can go in the nature. We also have Onnaboda, which is a very well visited nature reserve, which is very close by with the bus. And we also have Kilsbergen, which is a bit further away, but also very good hiking spot. So I would say it's a great opportunity if you like hiking. We do have several areas you can go.
Yeah, and as we had it like last year in the webinar, a question about that, actually in the forest, it's true that there is a 5-kilometer walk, which is even lightened in the night, 24/7 in winter time. So you can even in winter time, when it gets dark quite early, around 5 already or 4, you can still go outside and walk because they have lighted up like the whole 5-kilometer walk. So yeah, they're really preferred if you like hiking.
And also, as in the pictures you've shown by the lake, it's also very good walking strokes around the water, which is pretty. Okay, are there any volunteering opportunities or social work where the student can help with on their free time? Yeah, well,
yeah, you can actually, if you do want to do something social, I don't totally know about that if you want to get involved into somewhere outside of campus. But what you can do on campus is the place that Seb showed you, like Kårhus. It's owned by students and run from students for students. So they're more than happy if you would like to work there. You can work there in the cafe. You can work as a bartender, like in the evenings and so on. And this will be voluntarily. So it means you won't get paid. But I have done it a couple of times. You won't get paid in, for example, food. So you can eat there for free. You get other benefits which are related to Kårhus itself, which won't be monetary, but they are always also more than happy and always look for students. They join. And as I told you, a lot of Swedes speak perfect English. Don't worry, you don't need any Swedish for that. It's totally fine, to do that.
Yes. So how dog-friendly would you say Örebro is?
Very dog-friendly.
Very dog-friendly, yes. I mean, Sweden overall is dog-friendly. So as we mentioned, we bike everywhere, so it's easily to walk your dog. It's good of biking and walking paths all over the city. I think Örebro in general have a lot of dog owners living here. I have one at home, so I would say it's very dog friendly. Do we have any more questions? Yeah. Upon our coming from a destination like from Ghana to Sweden, would be the availability special people or buses to
Örebro University, yep.
To convey international students to Örebro University, like to help welcoming you and help you get to campus. That's why we have our buddies. That's why we also would like you to fill in the arrival form so you know when you will arrive, so we can have buddies at the central station, for example, waiting for you and helping you to get to the campus. And that while at campus, we can also help you finding housing office and then walk you to your door, basically. So the more we know and the more you inform us about, the more assistance you will get.
Yes. And are there any more questions? Not for now.
Okay.
Then I will show you our contact information. So you can always write me if you have a question later on, or something wasn't clearly stated, or you watch the recording right now and then you still have a question and can't ask it live. Then please send us an email to internationalmasters@oro.se. And also, when you have decided that you want to come, please send us an email, as Sophie said, like to the last question. The more we know about you, about when you come, which program you got admitted, and so on, you get more assistance. So we would really like you to get in contact with us. If you do have specific questions regarding admissions or regarding paying the tuition fees, you can directly contact freemover@oro.se, because they're in charge of that. Otherwise, you can contact me first, but the only thing I got to do is actually then forward your email. So if you want a faster answer, you can also directly contact them if you want to. And if you have any program-specific question regarding internship opportunities in the special field or the content and so on, then we had at the beginning the slide with all the program coordinators. Then just text them and they're going to answer you. Yes, so I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope we could answer all the questions that you had for right now. And then here's a shortly reminder again about the key dates. And then we would say, we see you in September. Yes. So bye.
Bye-bye.